My parents broke into my apartment, so I disappeared. The throw pillows were wrong. I stood in my doorway at 6:30 on a Wednesday evening, key still in hand, staring at my couch like it was a crime scene. The navy blue pillow that I always kept on the left side was now on the right. The cream one with the little tassels sat exactly where the navy should be. My stomach dropped. Someone had been in my apartment. I set my purse down slowly on the entry table, listening. The place was silent. Empty. But the evidence was everywhere once I started looking. 3 Tupperware containers lined up on my kitchen counter like soldiers: lasagna, potato salad, chocolate chip cookies. Food I definitely had not made. The faint smell of Lysol hung in the air. My bathroom towel, which I'd left crumpled on the rack that morning, was now folded into a perfect rectangle. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Mom. "Hope you found the food. Stopped by to drop it off. Your place is coming together nicely, though you really should add more color to that living room. Love you." I called her immediately. She answered on the second ring, her voice bright and cheerful like she'd just won the lottery. "Diana, did you get my text?" "Mom." I was trying to keep my voice level, trying not to explode. "You can't just let yourself into my apartment. I brought you dinner, sweetheart. You've been working so hard at that marketing firm, and I know you don't have time to cook proper meals." She said it like I should be thanking her, like this was normal mother-daughter behavior. "That's not the point. You need to call first. You need to ask permission." She laughed. Actually laughed. This light little sound like I'd just told her the funniest joke. "Diana, honey, you're my daughter. I don't need an appointment to see you. I was in the neighborhood, I had extra food, and I used the key. That's what the key is for." I pressed my fingers hard against my temples, feeling the start of a tension headache. "The key is for emergencies." Well, you not eating properly is an emergency to me. Now, did you try the lasagna yet? I used that recipe from Aunt Carol, the one with the Italian sausage.
Mom.
I'm serious. Next time, call first. All right. Don't be so sensitive." Her voice had that edge to it now, that wounded tone she used whenever someone pushed back on anything she did. "I'll talk to you later, sweetie." She hung up before I could respond. I stood there in my kitchen in my apartment that I paid for with my own money, holding my phone and telling myself I was overreacting. She was just being a mom. An overbearing mom, sure, but she meant well. The lasagna was actually pretty good, and it saved me from ordering Thai food for the 3rd time that week. I should have trusted my instincts right then. I should have driven straight back to my parents' house and demanded that key back. But I didn't. I told myself it wasn't worth the fight, that she'd gotten the message, that it wouldn't happen again. I was wrong. My name is Diana, and I'm 26 years old. When I signed the lease on my first apartment in downtown Portland 3 months earlier, I thought I'd finally achieved what every kid dreams about: real independence. My own space. My own rules. No more living under my parents' roof in the suburbs, following their schedules, answering their endless questions about where I was going, who I was seeing, when I'd be home. No more of my mother checking my room like I was still 16 and might be hiding vodka under the bed. The apartment was perfect. A 1-bedroom on the 4th floor of a converted warehouse building with exposed brick walls, big windows that let in afternoon light, and a balcony barely big enough for a chair and a plant. It cost $1,400 a month, which was a stretch on my marketing coordinator salary, but it was mine. I'd painted the bedroom wall a soft gray. I'd bought a couch from IKEA and assembled it myself, only calling my dad for help once when I couldn't figure out which way the brackets were supposed to face. On move-in day, my mother, Patricia, 55 years old with highlighted blonde hair and the kind of smile that had gotten her out of speeding tickets her entire life, had asked for a spare key. "Just for emergencies, sweetheart," she'd said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "What if there's a fire? What if you get hurt and we need to check on you?" It seemed reasonable at the time. Parents worry. That's what they do. That's their job. So I handed over the spare key from the little envelope the landlord had given me. I watched her clip it onto her keychain next to the little photo charm of me from my high school graduation, and I thought nothing of it. That was my first mistake. 2 weeks after the pillow incident, things escalated. I'd stumbled into my bathroom on a Saturday morning, barely awake, planning to take a quick shower before meeting my friend Stephanie for brunch at that new place on Hawthorne. That's when I saw it, A purple bottle of salon brand shampoo sitting on the shelf in my shower. Not my brand. Not my color. Not mine. I picked it up, squinting at the label. Moisture Renewal Formula for color-treated hair. The price sticker was still on it.
$20.
This was my sister Ashley's favorite shampoo. She'd complained about the cost at least 5 times at family dinners. My 23-year-old sister, who lived an hour away in Salem, working as a dental hygienist and constantly posting Instagram stories about how expensive rent was. My sister had apparently spent the night in my apartment. Without asking. Without me even knowing. I was still standing there in my towel, holding the shampoo bottle like it was evidence at a murder trial, when my phone rang.
Mom.
Good morning, sweetheart. Did Ashley remember to leave you a thank you note? My brain was moving too slowly. A thank you note for what? For letting her crash at your place last night. She had a date in Portland, some guy from one of those apps, I forget which one, and didn't want to drive home late. I told her she could use your apartment since you're always at work anyway. The casual way she said it made my blood pressure spike, so fast I could hear it in my ears. You gave Ashley access to my apartment without asking me. Diana, she's your sister. You would have said yes anyway. That's not the point, Mom. This is my... Oh, don't be so dramatic. She slept on your couch, used your shower, and was gone by 7 a.m. You weren't even there. What's the big deal? The big deal is that I didn't know about it. My voice was rising now. I could hear it getting higher, sharper. What if I'd come home late and found a stranger in my apartment? She's not a stranger. She's your sister. That's not. I took a deep breath, trying to find some calm. Mom, you cannot give people access to my apartment. I don't care if it's Ashley or Dad or the actual Pope. This is my space. My private space. There was a pause. When she spoke again, her voice had changed.
Gone cold and hard.
You're being selfish. The word hit me like a slap. Excuse me? Your sister needed help, and you're throwing a tantrum about her using your shower. Family helps family, Diana. I don't know what's gotten into you since you moved out, but this attitude needs to stop. She hung up, just ended the call, leaving me standing there in my bathroom with wet hair and my sister's $90 shampoo, feeling like I was losing my mind. Was I being selfish? Was I overreacting? These were my parents, my sister. They weren't strangers. They weren't dangerous people. They loved me. But the knot in my stomach told me something was very, very wrong. I called Ashley. She answered after 3 rings, sounding sleepy.
A.D.
What's up? Did you stay at my apartment last night?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that, by the way. I had dinner with this guy from Tinder. His name was Marcus, or maybe Matt, I don't remember. And it ran super late, and I was way too tired to drive all the way back to Salem. Mom said it was cool if I crashed at your place. Ashley, I was trying so hard to keep my voice steady. You need to ask me, not Mom. But it's Mom. She has a key. I figured she cleared it with you. She didn't. There was a pause. I could hear her shifting around, probably sitting up in bed.
Oh. I mean, I'm sorry. I guess.
I didn't think it was a big deal. You weren't even home. That phrase. You weren't even home. Like my absence from my own apartment somehow made it community property. Like the fact that I was at work or out with friends meant anyone could just waltz in and use my stuff. Just next time, text me first. Please.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry, D.
But I could hear it in her voice. She didn't really understand why I was upset. To her, to all of them, I was being ridiculous. Paranoid. Selfish. That afternoon, I drove to my parents' house. The same house I'd grown up in, the one with the red front door, and the garden gnomes Mom collected from every vacation. Dad was in the garage, working on his old Chevy truck. He looked up when I walked in, smiled, wiped his hands on a rag. Diana, what a nice surprise. My father, Robert, was 58 with gray hair and the kind of weathered face that comes from 30 years of working construction. He'd built half the houses in our neighborhood with his own hands. He taught me how to change a tire when I was 15, how to check my oil, how to stand up for myself when boys were being idiots in high school. I need to talk to you and Mom. His smile faded. Everything okay?
No.
Everything's not okay. We went inside. Mom was in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, preparing her famous pot roast. The house smelled like onions and beef, and every Sunday dinner from my childhood. She looked up when we walked in, her face lighting up. Diana, stay for dinner. I can't. I need my key back. Mom's wooden spoon clattered into the pot. She turned to face me, and I watched her expressions cycle through confusion to hurt to anger in about 3 seconds flat. Your key? The spare key I gave you. I need it back. Why on earth would you need it back? Dad had followed me into the kitchen, closing the garage door behind him. I could feel both of them staring at me, and suddenly I was 12 years old again, being interrogated about a bad grade, or why I'd missed curfew. But I wasn't 12. I was 26. And this was my life. Because you're using it to enter my apartment without permission. You let yourself in to drop off food. You gave Ashley access to stay over without asking me. That key was for emergencies only. Mom's face flushed red, splotchy. Bringing my daughter food is an emergency. Making sure you're taken care of is an emergency. You work yourself to death at that job you barely eat, you never call. I call you 3 times a week. And now you want to cut us out completely? After everything we've done for you? I'm not cutting you out. I'm asking you to respect my boundaries. Boundaries. She said the word like it tasted rotten. That's what they teach you at that company, isn't it? All those corporate buzzwords. Boundaries. Personal space. As if your own mother is some kind of threat. Patricia. Dad's voice was quiet but firm. He only used her first name when things were getting serious. She ignored him, her eyes locked on mine. I raised you. I fed you, clothed you, paid for your college. And now you're standing in my kitchen accusing me of what? Exactly? Being a good mother? You're breaking into my apartment. It's not breaking in when I have a key. I gave you that key for emergencies. Not for surprise visits. Not for letting other people stay over. She grabbed a dish towel, twisting it in her hands. I watched tears well up in her eyes. The same tears that had gotten her out of speeding tickets, gotten me out of punishment when Dad was angry, gotten her way in every single family argument for as long as I could remember. I can't believe you're doing this to me, she said, her voice breaking. I'm your mother. I worry about you every single day. You're out there all alone in that apartment, and God forbid something happens and we can't get to you. Nothing's going to happen to me. You don't know that. The tears were falling now, actual tears running down her cheeks. What if there's a fire? What if you fall in the shower? What if someone breaks in? Then I'll call 911, like a normal person. Dad stepped between us, his arms crossed over his chest. Diana, I think you're being paranoid. The words stung more coming from him. Dad was supposed to be the reasonable one, the calm one, the one who taught me to think logically, to solve problems, to not let emotions cloud my judgment. I'm not paranoid. I'm asking for basic respect. He shook his head slowly. We're not giving the key back. The room went silent except for the bubbling pot roast. I stared at him. What? You heard me. We're not giving it back. We're your parents, Diana. This whole thing is ridiculous. Something inside me went very cold and very calm. Then I'll change my locks. Mom gasped, actually gasped like I'd just announced I was joining a cult. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I left without another word. Drove straight back to my apartment, pulled up Google on my phone, and searched for locksmiths. Found one with same-day service and 5-star reviews. A guy named Tom showed up at 6 p.m. with a toolbox and replaced both my front door deadbolt and my sliding balcony door lock. By 8 p.m., I had brand new keys, 3 of them. I kept all 3. For 2 weeks, I felt victorious. I'd drawn a line in the sand. I'd stood up for myself. My apartment was mine again, truly mine, and nobody could just walk in whenever they felt like it. I ate dinner without wondering if my mother was going to appear in my kitchen. I came home from work and actually relaxed. Then I came home on a Thursday evening and found Mom sitting on my couch. My briefcase slipped from my hand. It hit the floor with a thud that echoed through my apartment, but I barely heard it. All I could see was my mother, sitting on my couch with a cup of tea on my coffee table and a magazine open in her lap, like she lived here. Like this was her house. Like she had every right. How did you get in here? She looked up, smiled like nothing was wrong, and held up a shiny new key. My heart was hammering so hard against my ribs, I thought I might throw up. Where did you get that? I called your landlord. Nice man, that Mr. Henderson. I explained that I was your mother and needed access in case of emergencies. He understood completely. Gave me a copy yesterday. The room tilted. I grabbed the back of my armchair to steady myself, my fingers digging into the fabric. You went behind my back to my landlord. Don't be so dramatic, Diana. She set down her magazine, Better Homes and Gardens, of course. I'm your mother. I have every right to check on you. And thank God I did. Have you seen your refrigerator? There's nothing in there but yogurt and some questionable takeout containers. Get out. Excuse me? Get out.
Now.
She stood up slowly, collecting her purse with these deliberate, martyred movements, like she was the victim here. I cannot believe the way you're speaking to me. I came here out of love, out of concern, and this is how you treat me. You manipulated my landlord into giving you unauthorized access to my apartment. That's not love. That's control. It's motherhood. She moved toward the door, pausing to look back at me with this expression that I'm sure she thought was wise and knowing. When you have children of your own, you'll understand. You never stop worrying. You never stop needing to know they're safe. There's a difference between worrying and stalking. Her face went hard, all the softness draining out of it. I'll be keeping this key. For emergencies. The door closed behind her with a soft click. I stood there shaking, actually physically shaking, for a full minute before I could move. Then I grabbed my phone and called my landlord. Mr. Henderson, this is Diana Shepherd in Unit 412. Oh, Diana. Your mother stopped by yesterday. Lovely woman. She was very concerned. Mr. Henderson. I cut him off. Under absolutely no circumstances are you to give anyone, and I mean anyone, access to my apartment without my explicit written permission. That includes my parents. A pause.
I'm sorry.
I didn't realize there was an issue. Your mother was very convincing. She said you'd been unwell, and she needed to check on you.
I'm perfectly fine.
She lied to you. If she or anyone else asks for access again, you need to call me first. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, of course. I apologize, Miss Shepherd. I should have verified with you. It won't happen again. I hung up and immediately called a different locksmith. Changed my locks again. Sent Mr. Henderson a certified letter, actually typed it up, printed it, and took it to the post office, stating that only I was authorized to enter my apartment, and any breach of this would be considered a violation of my lease. 3 weeks of peace followed. 3 glorious weeks where I thought maybe, finally, the message had gotten through. Maybe they'd realized they'd crossed a line. Maybe things could go back to something resembling normal. Then I came home to find my window screen lying on the floor and fresh laundry folded on my bed. The casserole sat in my refrigerator like a smoking gun. Chicken and rice with cream sauce, still warm, covered in aluminum foil. A sticky note attached to the top in Mom's handwriting. You're not eating enough. Love, Mom. My hands were shaking as I walked through my apartment, taking inventory. Nothing stolen. Nothing damaged. Just violated. My dirty laundry, which I'd left in a hamper in my bedroom that morning, had been washed, dried, folded, and put away in my dresser drawers. My dishes, which I'd left in the sink, were clean and stacked in the cupboard. And my window, my second-floor window, stood wide open, the screen lying on the floor beneath it. I walked over and looked down. There was a trellis attached to the building, decorative lattice work covered in climbing roses, planted there to make the old warehouse conversion look more upscale. It was sturdy, strong enough to climb. She'd climbed it. My 55-year-old mother had climbed a trellis to break into my apartment. I called her. She answered on the first ring, her voice bright and cheerful. Diana, did you find the casserole? I used that recipe you always loved, the one from... Did you climb through my window? Silence.
Mom.
Answer me. Did you climb through my window to get into my apartment? Well, the door was locked. Her voice had changed now, gone defensive and petulant. What was I supposed to do? I made you a nice dinner. I did your laundry. And now you're yelling at me. I'm yelling at you because you broke into my apartment. It's not breaking in when it's family, Diana. You're being ridiculous. You climbed through my window because you changed the locks again. If you would just give us a key like a normal daughter, I wouldn't have to go to such extremes. This is your fault, not mine. I ended the call. Couldn't listen to another word. Immediately dialed Dad. Hello, sweetheart. Did you know Mom broke into my apartment through the window?
A sigh.
Not a surprised sigh. Not a shocked sigh. A tired here we go again sigh. Your mother told me she stopped by.
She didn't stop by, Dad.
She climbed a trellis and broke in through my window because I wouldn't give her a key. Diana, your mother worries about you. She can't sleep at night thinking about you all alone in that apartment. If you would just cooperate, she wouldn't have to resort to breaking and entering? That's what you're calling this. You're making this much harder than it needs to be. Just give us a key. Let us check on you. That's all she wants.
No.
Diana, I'm an adult. I have the right to privacy in my own home. And we have the right to make sure our daughter is safe. You're being selfish and paranoid, and frankly, I'm disappointed in you. He hung up on me. My own father hung up on me. I sat on my couch, the same couch where I'd found Mom sitting uninvited, and stared at my window. At the trellis visible through the glass. At the climbing roses swaying gently in the evening breeze. I could change the locks 100 times. I could install cameras, deadbolts, chains, a full security system.
It wouldn't matter.
They would always find a way in. They believed they had the right. They believed my independence was temporary, my boundaries were negotiable, my adulthood was optional. To them, I was still their little girl, and little girls don't get to have locked doors. There was only one solution. I had to disappear. The new apartment building stood on the northwest side of Portland, in the Pearl District. 20 stories of glass and steel with a doorman named Victor who took his job very seriously. The building had a gym, a rooftop terrace, underground parking. The lease required a credit check, first and last month's rent, and a hefty security deposit. It cost $400 more per month than my current place, $800 total, which was going to be tight on my salary, but I didn't care. I signed the papers on a Tuesday morning, took the keys from the leasing agent, a woman named Jennifer with perfect nails and a tablet instead of a clipboard. And I told absolutely no one. For the next 2 weeks, I requested a Friday off work, telling my boss, Sarah, I had a medical appointment. I rented a U-Haul truck from the location on 82nd Avenue, paid in cash. I called 2 friends I trusted, Stephanie and Olivia, girls I'd met at a book club 6 months earlier who didn't know my parents and had no reason to contact them. You're really not going to tell them? Stephanie asked as we loaded boxes into the truck. She was 28, a paralegal with short black hair and an impressive ability to carry heavy furniture without breaking a sweat. If I tell them, they'll show up and try to stop me. Or worse, they'll follow me to the new place. Olivia taped up another box of kitchen supplies. She was quieter than Stephanie, worked as a graphic designer, wore oversized sweaters, and had opinions about fonts. This is some spy movie stuff, Dee. Are you sure it's necessary? They broke in through my window. Yes, it's necessary. We worked fast. By 3 p.m., my apartment was empty. Every piece of furniture, every box, every picture frame, every trace of me, gone. I cleaned obsessively, scrubbing floors on my hands and knees, wiping down walls, making sure nothing remained that could tell them where I'd gone. At 5:30, I walked through the empty rooms one last time. The afternoon light slanted through the windows, illuminating dust motes in the air. It had been a good apartment. It should have been enough. If they'd just respected one simple boundary, don't enter without permission, I could have stayed here for years. I locked the door, walked down to the lobby, and dropped my keys in Mr. Henderson's mailbox with a note. Moved out early. Apartment is clean and ready for inspection. The new apartment was smaller but safer. 16th floor. Doorman at all times. Keycard access to the elevators. Guest sign-in policy strictly enforced. I unpacked boxes until midnight, hung my curtains, arranged my furniture, made my bed with the same navy blue comforter I'd had in the old place, set my navy blue pillow on the left side of the couch where it belonged. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Saturday and Sunday passed normally. Mom texted me a recipe for beef stew. She was always sending recipes I never made. I sent back a thumbs-up emoji. Dad sent a photo of his truck with new tires. I replied, "Looks great, Dad." Everything appeared normal. I was still their daughter. They were still my parents. Nothing had changed. Except everything had changed. On Monday, I stopped responding. Let their texts sit there unread. Let their calls go to voicemail. I went to work, came home to my new apartment, cooked dinner in my new kitchen, lived my life, and ignored every attempt they made to contact me. By Tuesday afternoon, my phone was exploding. 17 missed calls, 12 text messages, each one more frantic than the last. Diana, call me. Diana, where are you? Diana, why aren't you answering? Is everything okay? Please call us back. I let it ring. Watched the notifications pile up. Felt nothing. Wednesday brought voicemails. Mom's voice getting increasingly frantic, increasingly desperate. Sweetheart, please call us back. We're worried. Did something happen? Are you okay? Diana, please. Just let us know you're alive. I deleted them without listening all the way through. Thursday morning, I woke up to 23 missed calls. The voicemails were different now. The most recent one made my stomach drop, just for a second, before I remembered what they'd done. Mom's voice was hysterical, actually hysterical, breaking apart. We're your apartment, and it's completely empty. There's nothing here, Diana. Where are you? What happened? Oh God, Robert, what if the message cut off? I waited an hour. Let them panic. Let them feel a fraction of the violation I'd felt every time they'd invaded my space, every time they'd dismissed my boundaries, every time they'd treated me like I was crazy for wanting basic privacy. Then I called back. Mom answered before the first ring even finished. Diana. Oh, thank God. We didn't know your apartment is. Why would you think something terrible happened to me? Because everything is gone. Your apartment is completely empty. There's nothing there, no furniture, no clothes, nothing. We didn't know if you'd been evicted or if something happened or… That's not an explanation. I kept my voice steady.
Calm.
Why are you at my apartment right now? The line went quiet.
Mom.
I asked you a question. Why are you at my apartment? Her voice faltered. We were worried. You weren't answering your phone. I didn't answer for 2 days. 2 days, Mom. And your response was to break into my apartment again. We didn't break in. You what? Climbed through the window again? Convinced Mr. Henderson to let you in again? Which method of breaking and entering did you use this time? I heard fumbling. Then Dad's voice, hard and angry. Diana, what the hell is going on? Where are you? Where's all your stuff? I moved. You what? I moved to a new apartment. Because you two refused to respect my boundaries. We're your parents. We have every right to check on you. No, Dad, you don't. You climbed through my window because I wouldn't give you a key. You manipulated my landlord. You entered my home repeatedly without permission. That's not parenting. That's stalking. That's not. We were worried about you. Then call me, text me, ask to visit like normal people. You don't get to break into my home.
Fine.
His voice had gone cold now, the way it used to when I was a teenager, and he decided an argument was over.
Fine.
Give us your new address.
No.
Excuse me? I said no. Diana, I proved I can't trust you. You proved that no lock, no boundary, no clearly stated request for privacy will stop you from doing whatever you want. So no, I'm not giving you my address. Mom grabbed the phone back. I could hear them struggling over it. We're your parents. You can't just cut us off. I'm not cutting you off. I'm protecting myself. There's a difference. This is insane. You're being paranoid and cruel, and I'm being an adult who gets to decide who enters my home. That's my right. You took that right away from me over and over again, even after I explicitly told you to stop. You left me no choice. Diana, please. Her voice cracked, and for a second, just 1 second, I felt guilty.
Please don't do this.
We love you. We just want to make sure you're safe. For a moment, I wavered. But then I remembered coming home to find her sitting on my couch like she owned the place. I remembered finding my window screen on the floor. I remembered Dad crossing his arms and saying, "We're not giving the key back," like my feelings didn't matter at all. If you want a relationship with me, it happens on my terms. We can meet for coffee. We can have dinner at restaurants. We can talk on the phone. But you don't get access to my home. Not anymore. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. When you're ready to respect my boundaries, let me know. Until then, this is how things are. I hung up before either of them could respond. That was 4 months ago. They still don't know where I live. They still call, though less frequently now. We've had coffee twice at a Starbucks downtown, neutral territory where they can't follow me home. The conversations were tense, uncomfortable, filled with loaded silences and careful words. Mom cried both times. Dad barely spoke. But they haven't asked for my address again. They haven't tried to follow me. They're learning slowly that I meant what I said. Last week, Mom texted me. I made pot roast. Your favorite. Would you like to come over for dinner on Sunday? I stared at the message for a long time. Read it over and over, looking for the trap, the manipulation, the guilt trip. But it was just a simple invitation. An actual question, not a demand. Not an assumption. A question. I typed back. I'll be there at 6. It's not forgiveness. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it's a start. On my terms. At my pace. With boundaries firmly in place. Because I'm not their little girl anymore. I'm Diana, 26 years old, with my own apartment in a building that has a doorman and locks that only I have keys to. I have a life they're not entitled to invade. I have space they're not entitled to occupy. I have privacy they're not entitled to violate. And if they want to be part of my life, they'll respect that. Or they won't be part of it at all. Some mornings, I stand at my 16th floor window with my coffee, looking out over the city, and I think about that old apartment. The exposed brick. The afternoon light. The trellis covered in climbing roses. It should have been enough. But it wasn't safe. Not from them. This place is safe. The doorman knows my face. The elevators require a keycard. My neighbors don't know my parents. And every night when I lock my door with a deadbolt only I have keys to, I sleep better than I have in months. My phone buzzes, sometimes with texts from Mom. Recipes, mostly. Sometimes just thinking of you. I respond when I feel like it. On my schedule. In my own time. Because that's what adults get to do. They get to decide. And I've decided that my home is mine. My space is mine. My life is mine. And no one, not even family, not even people who love me, gets to take that away.
If you enjoyed this, you'll probably like the next story too.